Okay, we're starting our second repair of the Zodiac here. I have a feeling that after so many years, I think all the PVC glue that's originally used essentially becomes, less bond. It doesn't hold the bond that it did when it was new. Because it seems like now the other side of the Zodiac, where you see that blue tape, essentially the inside seam here for the floorboard has come off, and you can see it's almost peeled off all the way across, and it has up near the bow. So I'm right now just working, and I'm going to remove this whole tube part here, separate that from the tube so I can then repair the floor, which is behind here. This is the bag that goes inside the help it plane or what have you, but here we go. Let's improve this, start working on removing that edge on there. Pretty much just using an acetone and a brush and just poke at it here, and it starts coming apart here. They say you're supposed to use MEC, which stands for like methyl something or other ketone or whatever the hell it is. I got 2 little cans of that to use for preparing for gluing. When it comes time to put this all back together, I had to buy some more 2-part PVC glue for reassembling because I have to do a lot bigger area than I was planning. Pretty much found that, when you try to pick that stuff up locally, it's going to be a arm and a leg. It's best just to buy it online, I think. Plus there's a shelf life, I've learned, to the PVC glue. There's an expiration date they'll have on it, so it's probably best to buy it from a place that has a high turnover on their product, at least, so you're not buying something that's been sitting on the shelf for years. So I'd really be careful about buying it locally and just take into account if you see a big pile of dust on the product, it's probably best not to buy it, because that means they're not turning over any inventory. But I won't bore you with the whole separation process here, but you can sort of see how easy the acetone separates the material here. Move you there. The blue tape is just so I know where to reattach it as a reference point. You can actually see every now and then on some of the pieces you'll see the pencil marks that Zodiac put on it when they assembled it back. God, I think this hull was made in 2006, I think. I'd have to look at the hull plate on it, but I think it was 2006 that this Zodiac was produced. So that maybe gives you an idea how long PVC glue will last before if you got a 10-year-old Zodiac, you could be expecting to take the whole thing apart and re-glue the sections again. So this section's coming to much slower than the front half did. It seems like this glue's a lot stronger bond. So when I get this off, I'll have a better idea how bad that bottom seam is and just how many sections I'm going to have to re-glue this in, because they say the working time on those can of glue is like an hour, I think, or something. It says before the glue starts losing its integrity and its bonding. So it's sort of weird because you got to put, I don't know, I found some directions on, what was it, I can't remember the website now, but one of those inflatable boat sites online that come up when you Google it, and it said, like, 3 thin coats, waiting 15 minutes between coat, and then you assemble it. And then I guess if the glue dries while you're waiting for it, you can use mech to reactivate the glue to get the sheen back. And they also refer to using a heat gun to reactivate the glue to get it to come back as well. So I guess you can do it chemically through mech or just with heat, get the glue to be sticky again. I found that it's best to use like a thin brush here, if you can see it. Seems to work good in stabbing in the edge of the bond between the two materials. And then just sort of wipe it back and forth. Getting closer. I guess acetone works so well in separating the bond of the glue that you obviously wouldn't want to use an inflatable boat in a lake of acetone. Getting closer. Notice that the rubber gloves don't last long with the acetone either. Okay, we're getting closer. What I'll probably do is I'll have to clean all these surfaces as well when I'm done. Maybe I'll just use one of those microfiber cloths and some acetone and sort of rub down both sides of the surfaces here to make sure I get all the old glue off and be ready to rebond it. There's a more graceful way to take the airbag out. You can, there's 2 fill tubes on the transom, one for each bag on the left and right side, and you gotta unscrew the little hose clamps essentially that hold the tube up and connect it to the filler valve on top. Getting there, almost there. Before I get to the end there, I'm going to put a piece of tape so I know where the end edge lines up at. By the way, I found if you buy that cheap tape, I just bought some Ace Hardware painter's tape, and that didn't stick for nothing to the PVC, but I guess you don't want painter's tape to really stick, so when you're using it as a painter maybe, but for this, it would just fall off the PVC, and I found it was useless in terms of marking the location of where I need to reassemble PVC. Let's work on that edge there. Just take your time and let the chemical do all the cutting. Here we go. We're almost there. That's the inside flap there. There we go. So here we go. Let's look up and down. So obviously this is the flap here that holds the airbag that was up there. This is the inside floor seam. Looks good there. Comes apart here. Let me get the toolbox out of the way. There we go. So you can see this is where the seam separated. See, this is all, look at that, even the other side of it. So that whole thing was glued down like that. And then that's where it goes all the way through to the other side right there. So I'll probably have to set this Zodiac upside down to get that to line up easier when it comes to gluing time, because I can see there's a lot of droop with me working on it standing up on end like I am. Like, see, here's, I have the whole Zodiac up on its side here. So there we go, continuation of my second Zodiac re-gluing attempt here, and at a certain point I would guess all the seams will be fixed.